Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Just taking my shoes off. Getting a bit more comfortable. How are we doing, guys? Hope we're all staying positive. As the dynamics change all the time of this movement. Jesus. Amsterdam. Hello, Steph. How you doing? Okay there, guys. How you doing? Paul, Tracy. Thank you for jumping on. I'm just going to kind of wait for it to build up a little bit. Hi, Sandman. Black as Black. Neil Williams. DJ Cuts. Is that a proper DJ name, mate? Or are you the man on the ones and twos? Hello, Steph. Yeah, good that you're in tune from the mighty Holland. Excellent. From Durham, LC. Nice one. Los Angeles. No way. No, Iceland. Oh, now you're just making shit up. Seriously. I'm not that global. Seriously. Wow. Oh, thank you, Rob. Mate, you're the legend. Seriously. I'm sure you've got 101 things to be doing than listening to some geezer approaching his 50s waffling on in his living room. Great Brit, mate. As you know, what am I going to say about Great Brit? Apart from, firstly, I apologise, because what do I always say about Great Brit? Every time I do a stream, I just do it, and I don't know whether Great Brit's got this alert bell or this flashing light, a siren that runs off, but I'm sure he's doing 101 things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, get in the chair. So I've just summoned Great Brit to the chair. Thank you, Great Brit, and thank you everyone else for jumping on. Wow, what can we say? It's this move. Happy to catch up. Yeah, nice one, Teresa. Thank you. Drunk much? I've got a coffee and I've got a bottle of water. I'm hoping to digest a can or two once I finish this stream. I did realise that the City game's on as well, so I can understand if people are preoccupied. So, as you can see from the title, it's getting to a situation, isn't it, where I don't know whether you see it. The one thing I will say before, hold on, let me just start this timer, because I've got an hour timer that I'm going to start, and I'm going to try and stick to it so I don't bore the life out of people too much. Right, the hour timer started. Thank you everyone. Bournemouth, wow, everyone's jumping in. Multinational. Yes, even the pissing haters, Harry. So, where we going? Friggin' hell. This multi-dimensional, shift-changing movement that seems to self-evolve with the minutes that pass. And I'm not even considered in it, but I'll tell you one thing I will say. And I've been accused of a lot of things over the months, because I've had, for me, the gob and the brain to actually say when I don't see something is right. So when I don't see something is right, I'll mention it. That, in this terms, in terms of this movement, has got me in trouble in so many ways. Whether it was justified or not, that's been the case. I've took it, and sometimes I've not took it. That's fine. I don't mind being a pincushion. Yeah, I don't mind being a... What's up? Yes, nice one, Eddie. Nice one. I don't mind being a pincushion. I've kind of grown to get used to that position and role. I still get comments now from people saying that Red Pill Phil is divisive, and literally saying on my channel in my comment section, don't listen to Red Pill Phil. Now, the person in question that I'm talking about, I've actually got back to him, and he put back another comment kind of reining in some of the things that he was saying. But it didn't stop other people jumping on. But you know what? We're in a world where, I will say this, what I've learned now, there's so many different people with different ideas, different opinions, different levels of consciousness, different ways that they want to attack certain problems, and different ways of solutions. Now, the one thing I've noticed is that it's almost like there's been a meeting held of the 20 most eminent thinkers in the world, and yet instead of listening to them one by one and soaking up their information, we're letting them all speak at once and no one can understand what the hell's going on. So that's what I mean about self-evolving. This movement just seems to be kind of just changing all the time. Now, the reason why I've done this stream, same again, this is out of love and affection for the movement. I have got no interest in being divisive. I've got no interest in wanting to rip the movement apart. I've got no interest in wanting to expose people and, manipulate people, anything. I don't want to become a leader of anything. I don't consider myself a leader. I consider myself a geezer who got pissed off over a certain event that happened in the best part of 2 years ago, but at the same time, I was already on a conscious journey. So this is all interjected and it's took me to here, where I'm at now. I don't consider myself as any kind of leader moving forward, nor do I consider anyone else, because I've got to say that people on this channel, even people who comment, even people who criticize and hate, they've still got a valid opinion. The reason why they're hating, the reason why they're getting on your case, the reason why they interject on the comment section, because they know there's something going on in this country. We're a country of apathetic people that's always been that way, and we'll always try and talk it down and we'll always try and make it. But at the same time, what I'm noticing now, I do feel now, if you want to call this divisive, you want to call this negative, because I've been called that as well. Call it me, I don't mind, but I'm going to say it. And what I will say is, pretty much after this stream, what I'm talking about in this stream, I'm pretty much not going to bring it up again. But I've got to say it. I'm going to say it one more time in this stream, and then I'm going to leave it alone. And if people want to make all opinions, they can do. We've got a movement for me that is self-destructive. Now, I'm not trying to pull anyone down, anyone apart, because I do see a lot of people have got really good intentions in this movement. This is why I'm speaking out. This is why I'm not spending the night with my family and I'm doing this stream, because I'm concerned and I'm worried. And when I've spent so much time meeting so many people and traveling hundreds, if not thousands of miles over the past 2 years, it disheartens me to watch even something that I've openly said I'm having nothing to do with, because, no one's listening and everyone's putting me as the bad guy, even when, some people might deem the way I've done it good or bad. So that aside, still the talking point is there. Still, from what I've been saying, has been emanating from months ago. Months ago, I've been bringing up all these talking points, but I wouldn't say no one's listening, because I've got subbers that will totally agree and totally moving forward. Now, same again, some people interpret that as some kind of split and divide. It's not. It's trying to do this where you're not going to get so much castigation. Sorry, I'm just pausing there because I was just looking at a comment. It's kind of gone off. So, same again, before the start, none of this is out of any vindictiveness, any maliciousness towards anyone or any part of the movement at all. This is only because I can see events from afar. that people are alerting me, and then I go and look myself, and it's almost worse than what they're saying. So you can do one or two things. You can literally just keep going and keep defending what you see is slowly becoming as the undefendable, and keep doing videos that appeal to the echo chamber. Or you can kind of go, guys, come on, we need to sort this out properly, because although the echo chamber wants a bit of anger, wants a bit of aggression, has had enough of it, is sick of being vilified, sick of being called Nazis, sick of being called racist, you're nowhere on this planet anywhere near winning the battle of the hearts and minds by acting like that. And that's all it is. I'm a working class guy. I've been brought up on estates. I know what it's like. I know, and I know how conversations happen. I've been in pubs. We've been through it all. I've not got a plum in my mouth. I don't consider myself better than anybody else in this movement. The revolution is here, Buzz. You're freaking right on there. It's what the revolution is. Is it a physical revolution, or is it a revolution of the mind? So for me, I don't want the violent bit. That's all it is. The left don't listen. The left don't listen, but you know what? This side of the movement gives the left so much ammunition, mate. So much ammunition. And it's easy. It's easy prey. Now, you can almost say, well, one, I don't care because I've had enough. And two, who gives a shit because the press lie anyway? Well, both of them, in a way, are valid. But at the same time, where are you going to get in your argument by disregarding them 2 points? You're going to get nowhere at all. Because in order to get your message out of the echo chamber to make it a more mainstream argument, you need to get the hearts and minds of people who don't know what the hell is going on. They can smell, they can sense something's not right in the world, in the country, in the town, but they don't know. Because they've been blinkered, they've been doing this, but they've seen little bits of news there, little bits of news there. So then, when you get certain articles, you get certain videos that, even though I've met a lot of the people on these videos, so for all intents and purposes, the people that don't know them, don't know them. So they'll look at that video and think, what a pissing muppet. Yellow vest? Do you think I'm putting on that yellow vest? Now, that's not me ripping down the yellow vest movement. That is saying the actions of what is going on at this moment is ripping down the yellow vest movement. All I'm doing is going on a stream and kind of stating the obvious. Stating the obvious that not too many people want to bring up, because not too many people want to talk about it. I was talking with another major YouTuber today who was asking me if I wanted to go to London to go to the Yellow Vest movement, and I basically said the same thing. I don't know what it's all about. Can you explain to me? Because I still don't know. And next thing you know, this person's going, well, I don't really know either. I was contacting you and hoping that you tell me, but I will tell you this. People have had enough and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, for fuck's sake. So half of me thinks, you know what's going to happen, because this almost seems a movement that's going to appeal to people who want anarchy and people who want the pushing and shoving, people who want to smash people's faces in the floor. You know, these are all previous things that have been brought up on previous videos and streams over the months. And it's coming, it's stacking up. Now, I've also said in myself about self-fulfilling prophecy. There's an element of that where, even though you've got the justification to feel that we're getting done over as a proletariat, your very actions have been thought of. There's contingency plans. So they know how the working class are going to react when they're being stamped on. So the one thing you don't do is give them exactly what they want. You've got to try and psychoanalyze the arena. And I'm not suggesting no one is. What I'm suggesting is that there's people trying it and people that have lost patience. and they're not prepared to go down that route anymore. Now, that's all well and good, but when you're all one and the same in the same movement, then it becomes a problem, doesn't it? Because you've got people for all the best will in the world that are trying to do things positively, and then you've got someone negative on the other side who, for all intents and purposes, to an absolute stranger, is stood by side with you, side by side. You've got the same vest on, you've got the same whatever, you're at the same march. So you're attributed to every movement they do. And that's all I've been trying to say. That, yeah, I get it. I don't want to be positive. I want to go down to 10 Downing Street and fucking drag Theresa May off that freaking high pedestal of hers and show her what time it is. But you can't, because we're talking about an elite that runs the signals. This signal now is being run by an elite force. Your TV, your computer, your phone, everything. So as much as, yeah, freedom of speech, I should be able to say what I want, at the same time, we've got to navigate all the nefarious stuff in front of us in order to still get that message out at the end without them having the ammunition to beat us down and kind of curtail you further back. How do we do it? Freaking hell, Nicky. Jesus. I can only just about make a cup of coffee. Talking about strategizing, I mean, that's what it takes. It is a very good question. All I'm doing is bringing up the talking point that no one really wants to discuss, and every time you do, you're like, shut up, shut up. You're not part of this movement, you're not part of this, man. It is getting boring to the point where it ain't going to shut me up. I'm not doing this to get at people. Sorry, just joined. I'm not doing this to get at people, and I'm not doing this to get underneath people's skin. I've got true affection for this movement, and I really want this movement to have longevity, because I've always said, whether people agree or not, this movement is got to be, and it's going to have to be, a multi-generational argument. It's not going to be done in one generation. We're sowing the seeds for our people coming up, our kids, our sons, our daughters, you know, brothers, sisters, all that are going to be joining this fight. So we've got to make sure we start it with the best intentions and on the right footing, and not set up a war, a chaos, order out a chaos scenario that 5 years down the line, our kids have got martial law because I'm too tired and worn out to get on the street and do anything anymore. And most of the other freaking YouTubers, because we're all aging. So that's all I'm thinking, is whether you call it a 10-year plan, 20-year plan, 5-year plan. Nothing's going to happen in a year. Last year should have told you that. Fucking hell. If nothing else, we've gone back a couple of steps in the space of a year. Now, that is my opinion. Same again, I might be speaking out of turn, but I can only speak on the way I feel about things, you know? How much would you charge to paint my ceiling, mate? I'm in Derby. Yeah, you know what? Forget the yellow vest. I'm just going to tout now. Red Pill Phil painting and decorating. Oh, sorry, mate. I don't do foreigners. I really don't do foreigners. So, what you could do, you could get your roller, get your brush out, prep your ceiling while you're listening to this. I could talk you through it if you want, all the way from Manchester. Play the long game. You're right there, buddy. You're right. Because this is too sophisticated. It's too sophisticated and multi-dimensional for us to handle right now. Because I can't say I know all the angles yet. So if I can't say it, I'm sorry. I don't think anyone else in this movement has got the right to say they know the angles. I'm still learning. There's potholes still to be had. Certainly. Yep, right. You've got me now. Stop going on, Phil, and let's get to the story. Right, so the reason why I called this, because same again, mainstream media, everyone hates it, everyone knows the lie and deceit, but they rule the signal, don't they? So whether you like it or not, their message is being beamed out to millions of people. So as you on a march individual or as a collective, as far as someone in Czechoslovakia or frigging Delhi or wherever, bloody Taiwan, who's just put on a YouTube clip of a filming of that march, you will not get a second chance to make a first impression. So everything you do is going to be looked at. Even if you're demonised and you think, I'm not having that, I'm going to act that, it still will come back on you. It's just the way it is, and that is almost part of the agitation. That's what we've been going through for months. You know it. The left come shout shit at marches, do all that kind of stuff. You've got to take it on the chin, because as soon as you act negatively towards them, boom, they've got the ammunition. So, right, which one am I going to freaking start with here? Firstly, I tapped in James Goddard. Now, I'm not knocking the guy, because for whatever you think of him, I've met him quite a while ago in the early stages of the Tracy Blackwell movement. He come up to me very humbly and was very nice and polite, told me he was a subber of mine, and I think he was doing some form of speech for Tracy Blackwell. I think that's the reason why I was down there. And he was a little bit timid in the early days, but he's got louder and louder as things have gone on. Now, he's going to appeal to people, whether people like it or not, because there's people who've lost the patience, there's people who's pissed off in this movement. So whether you like his style, whether you agree with him, it's not for me to kind of break that down right here and now. But any actions of anyone within any march is going to be representative of the rest of the march in general. So we've seen certain things, and I just tap it in. I get told that I got sent a link that James was on a stream. I've seen that in regards to some officers that he was giving some crap for. It didn't look good, but same again, people might agree with it. I've seen in the comments section, a lot of people were going, yeah, James, go on, give it to him. I don't get the mentality there when you're actually building your own straw man. But so I then get alerted that he's been all over the news. So I'm like, what? So then I heard about him shouting kind of Nazi at and Solberry, a politician. Now, same again, don't matter what you think about her, whether you like her or not. Personally, I'll get right to the very end now. She got the best out of the two, because from the way I've seen it, he's come out and a lot of them have been shouting all kinds of stuff because they deserve it. The elite do deserve that remonstration, but it is how it's perceived and the narrative that can be taken from it, and too many things stack up. So with him shouting Nazi and other things to her, she's immediately then been interviewed by the BBC, and she's come out and branded the whole Brexit movement, everyone a fascist who's got a yellow vest, everyone who's a racist who's got a yellow vest. So the obvious keywords are going to come out there as well. You know, far right, this, that and the other. So same again, people look at me and go, come on Phil, you're being divisive. I ain't the one who's then getting politicians on my behalf coming out and slating me on what I've done, and on behalf of a whole movement that's just started. Freaking hell, talk about in its infancy. It's crazy. So, same again, I'm not getting at James here for this, because I do think he is trying to do the right for what he believes in. However, I think it's a bit too over, if I'm going to be honest. And Nazi's far left. No, not far right. Well, yeah, exactly. But you're wrong, mate. At least Brexit isn't one-way street now. Well, I don't see why I'm wrong, because what I'm saying is, it does not matter how you feel. Let me get that through to you. Let me break this down. It does not matter how you feel, how angry you are, how disillusioned, how disorientated. The perception is more important on than your feelings. So I don't get why people do not get that, because if you don't get that, You're being perceived as a movement full of hooligans, full of gangsters, full of frigging far right, full of everything. So if you want to carry on that movement, carrying that tag around, knowing that you've got members within the group are bringing it down to such disrepute levels that that tag is not going anywhere, then carry on. I'm not bothered. I'm not doing it to get at you, my friend. I'm doing it because I see this going down. This movement's going down like a submarine. Can you not see that? Seriously. Can people not understand that? We need to behave well. I mean, freaking hell. Of course you do. And I don't mean that kind of venom in that reply against that person, but it's obvious. We need to do that. Even though we're all unhappy, we're seeing we're being hoodwinked, we're seeing we're being lied to and deceived and all the rest of it. But your very actions are being utilised against you. Now, let me read The Guardian. Whether you like this paper or not, it's irrelevant. Look at what they're doing to this movement because of the actions, right? Pro-Brexit activist says all Muslims should be removed from the UK, right? Video found of James Goddard, part of a group who barricaded Anna Soubry, arguing Islam should be banned from the West. Now, whether you agree with him or not, how does that look and sound? So, it's up to you whether you want to go down that mantra, but you can see the elastic effect it's going to have, and you can see that the more you do this, the less chance you've got of bringing this conversation up in front of your mates, in front of your wife, in front of your grandmother, without being called this, because their signal is far stronger than yours. Whether you like it or not, we have got to play in their realm in order to get this out. The shit that this guy has had shut down now because of what's happened, self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, we can all get outraged about that, and we can all go on another march because the system's just let James down, because James is just going through his freedom of speech. Yeah, you can if you want, but then when it happens to you, what's going to happen? And then when it happens to the next man, what's going to happen? It's done it to the biggest man in this movement. So what do you think they give a shit about a James Goddard or a Red Pill Phil or anyone else? You can see you're running against the stream. So what I'm saying is divert. I'm not saying don't fight a certain battle. I'm saying do it a bit more cleverly. That's all I'm saying. So let me read on anyway. The most prominent of the protesters who have harassed MPs and journalists outside the Houses of Parliament, harassed, okay? Not redressed, harassed. So what I'm going to say in this argument, when I read through this article, I'm going to point out key words where they've used it to manipulate, mindfuck the politically illiterate, at the same time give this movement a bitch slap, okay? So I'm going to say it in them terms because I'm not going to sugarcoat it, you know? So I'll repeat it again. The most prominent of protesters who has harassed, slap one, MPs and journalists outside the Houses of Parliament in recent weeks argued last year that all Muslims should be removed from the UK, slap two, right? Because these are all negative connotations to the way that they're posing this article. So you can't get away from that, you know? You can always say, I don't give a fuck about it, but they're selling millions of papers, and their rhetoric is stronger than our rhetoric, so you've got to take it on board. Now, I'm not saying I'm curtailing myself because of these guys either, I'm not. I'm saying I'm being cleverer or trying to be smarter so I can navigate and, you know, mitigate this shit. So you're not getting articles that are demonising you. So then I can talk to my mates and go, right, and he's go, oh, I've seen articles about you calling, no, you haven't, because my message is hopefully that clean that they can't say it. And if they do, then they are being disingenuous. But when you're providing shit on a plate with tomato sauce on it, then there's not a lot you can say. So I'm going to carry on reading. Hold on. UK saying he wanted to ban Islam from the West. Another slap, it has emerged. In another indication of far-right views, another slap, held by several of the self-styled yellow vest activists, another slap, stationed outside Parliament, ostensibly to call for Brexit. A video exists of James Goddard arguing that Islam should be removed from the UK. Now, that's not a slap because he's actually arguing the point, I guess. Goddard, who has regularly filmed himself and other activists harassing and abusing people, including the Conservative MP Anne Soubry, another slap, has built up this profile by live streaming confrontations to Facebook and seeking donations to finance his actions. So that's another slap. So that's now putting everyone into disrepute who's on this side of the fence, who is now trying to get funds. You know, PAG UK, all the other people who are going, I've got to go fund me here, we're really trying to do something. Now because you're deemed far right, now you're going to get dragged into all this. Even if you're not affiliated or aligned to it, you still are, just by being in that fucking vortex. You know what I mean? So, however, following calls from the Speaker, John Bercow, as well as from more than 100 MPs, for a stronger response from the police after a group of, including Goddard, barracked Soubry as she walked to Parliament. His Facebook and PayPal pages were removed. So you can see what's happened there. 100 MPs have obviously got on her side. Now, fair play. You know, I'm not saying he's wrong for doing what he's doing. I'm saying the way he's done it, you can see the negative effect that's kicked back. So for whatever he's tried to do, look what it's resulted in. So when I've always said over months, you've got to be careful of your actions because it builds everyone else's straw man. People have heard me say that. What's happened here now? Everyone else's straw man, yeah? More than 100 MPs for a stronger response from the police after a group, including Goddard. So that means a stronger response going out to these marches, going to tackle, going to harass you, going to bottleneck you, going to push you. But then you know what will happen? You'll get people within this movement that won't see how that has come about. They'll just see that as a further curtailment by the police and then get outraged over that. So from my way of thinking, there's an element that you could say, you've brought that on yourself. And not only have you brought that on yourself, but if there's any women and children in this march, with your actions and the way you are conducting yourself, you are bringing them into danger as well. Am I wrong or am I wrong? I don't know. You tell me. So, same again, I'm only saying this out of love and affection for this movement, and I was just watching it decline. You don't give the enemy. Yeah, you don't give the enemy the ammo, because that's exactly. You seem what? You seem beat already. Stanley Burgess. No, I'm not beat, mate. No. This is what I'm saying. The way I see it, there's two ways that you can fight this. You can fight this with a battering ram, or you can be more intelligent and come from round the outside. Double flanking, triple flanking, whatever you want. The way I see this movement going at the moment, everything's done with a battering ram. And there's no regard for what damage it leaves and what straw men are built from that. Now, it's easy for people who are commenting and saying things like that, but as an individual, if you're putting yourself on the line, and James has, and look where it's got him now, he's tagged, and he probably don't give a shit as well, but I'll be honest with you, I know another person, right, within this movement who doesn't live too far away from here, who over the past several weeks had an invitation to speak with counter-terrorism. And So what do you do with that? Do you then say, well, fuck it, I don't care, or do you then think, well, do a realignment fight? Am I fighting it the right way? You know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I ain't lost. I'm not being defeatist. This is a long haul battle. So I'm not trying to do it in 1 March, 2 March. I don't want to be that confrontational, getting in people's faces, even if they want to get in my face. I've taken off shit off this kind of movement, and I don't kick back that much. I have done in the past, and I regret it, and I'll try not to do it in the future. And even still, I'll probably regroup. Yeah, I'm probably still get shit for doing this and speaking out, but I'm just speaking out of sheer desire to get this movement back on track. So when people have said, what you're saying that about the vets for, you're being divisive, what you're saying this about this for, I'm not. I'm seriously not. But look at where we've gone from 3 months ago, or maybe 2 months ago, when I done that vets video, that I had full permission from Simon, and Simon actually said, mate, you've kind of articulated what I was saying quite well. So that aside, look at the damage that's been caused in so many different ways by individuals. I'm not naming names. It's not about that. It's not about ripping people through the mud. I'm only mentioning James because he's all over the frigging internet because of it. So you can't not mention his name. You wouldn't put, oh, I didn't miss that comment. I missed it. My brew's going cold, so I'm going to take a minute out to have a little swig. Yeah, fair enough, Mark. Been fighting from the 70s. There's people that's been seeing nefarious stuff from the 60s and the 50s. Whether it be this country or other countries, certainly, mate. So it's going to keep going. Don't forget, we're all battling. For me, my battle's the establishment, right? So the establishment are geared up to such a level where they're the key masters. They're the key holders. They are the wardens of this prison planet that we live in. They control all the spotlights, all the sensors. They control all the rotors. They've got us by the balls. So if anyone thinks that just getting a little bit annoyed and running around the odd town centre, sitting in the middle of the road is going to change that, then come on, guys. You've got to realise that we've got to be a bit more slicker and smarter. We have. And I know stories certainly change your perceptions by the minute, by the hour, and get people more involved, whether it be emotionally or physically. I get it. Fucking hell, totally get it. But, pure evil. Exactly. The establishment is the most evil force. And I'm not just talking about the British government. I'm talking about, per se, the 1% mentality that knows what they're doing to the proletariat and the 99%. And they're watching the likes of you and me argue all this out. You know what I mean? And they're sat back laughing their tits off because they're creating the problems and we're all getting rattled, which is causing the chaos. And then they come up, mop it up in order to create order out of the chaos. So it's written right there. And that is the system that these elite bitches have been doing for thousands of years. They've been ruling civilizations even preceding this lovely great country that we live in. There's so many ancient civilizations where the elites were doing exactly the same thing. Divide and rule, divide and conquer, whatever you want to call it. These guys have mastered, they formulated it. So psychologically, we're still way in our infancy in terms of fighting this. I've watched many different people over the years doing the fight, and they've brought the message out and they've alerted the public. But look where they've got for all what work they're doing. I'm not criticising them because without them, I would not have the knowledge I've got, and same with many other people. But you can see how difficult this fight is because it's a multi-generational battle. So we ain't going to win it in a couple of months. A lawful civil disobedience, but it has to be done with direction and goal. It has to have, I wouldn't say a leader, it has to have a central hub of mentality that no one person joining for whatever issues he wants to import into that movement, it does not come into that movement because that movement is representative of that. And then you have a certain amount of edicts that's not going to do this and not going to do that, because in order to beat these people, we've got to act just like them. Same again, this Anne Sulbury. She's come out, for all the bad you think of her, she owned James Goddard in a sense that no matter what he shouted at her, she come out with the best P's and Q's, went onto the channel that we're paying fucking money for, being the BBC, yeah? And she come out with the best P's and Q's, chatting about how we're all bad, how this movement is all bad. And people will suck it up. So even though she's lying, even though she's totally painting everyone with the same brush, she's won. That's an argument she's won. She's won up. Not only that, you've now got 3 articles that have got so much ammo because they've dug pure shit up. You know what I mean? She is. So I'm not on her side, but from her point of view, you're damn right she's going to look at them lot and go, what a load of freaking hooligans. And I'm only saying it as I see it. I'm not trying to say that they are hooligans because I know what they're all about. I know how pissed off they are. I've spoke to some of them personally. And there's nothing worse than drinking a cold cup of coffee. So, yeah, you know, Goddard's page on the mass funding website Patreon, on which he styled himself as a political activist and sought donations, sort of bringing that into disrepute, has also been suspended. The video uploaded in September shows Goddard engaged in a long debate about Islam with Yaffa Ladak. Now, I vaguely remember that. The imam of the mosque in Stanmore, North London. During the conversation, Goddard said that the estimated 2,000 mosques around the UK shouldn't be there, and he would get rid of them. Fair enough. Asked what this meant in practice, Goddard said, now this is where you've got to be careful. You've got to be a politician whenever you're coming out. Live streams are live streams. I fell for it. I've said all kinds of things. But you've got to try and semantically, because 3-4 years later, someone's going to bring your shit up. Now, all this lay dormant, didn't it? Seemingly. These guys, The Guardian, have only dug this up because James stuck his head up and started shouting shit at some politician. So they've gone back and gone, right, boom, boom, boom. Let's wrap this up. You know what I mean? And they're slapping him with it. Now, he probably don't care, and probably the people following don't care, but personally, in terms of the movement, I pretty much care, because that's just another nail in the coffin for the movement, personally, but that's my opinion. So, asked what he meant in practice, Goddard said, I would blow them up. This is in reference to the mosques. So you can tell that shit's going to go down well. But at the same time, he's been listening to rhetoric from radical Islamists saying all kinds of shit, so I can see why he's wound up. But you've got to be a bigger and better person, and you've got to use words that ain't going to come back and slap you 6 months down the line. Now, whether that's you self-curtailing, you know, you're allowed freedom of speech, but these guys are allowed the fact that they can print your freedom of speech as well. So, you know, there's consequences to your word. The UK is becoming a shithole. Well, in so many ways, mate, I'm not going to disagree with you, you know. Indigenous, 1,000 agreed, so she became out as a snob. Yeah, I know. And even I know you've had a piece of me over the months. You know what I mean? Because you, for whatever reason, you think I'm doing things the wrong way or going against people, whatever. So, bless you, I still love you, I know. You know what I mean? And I know you've watched me other stuff since. And I know you've not really probably had too much interjection on the comment section. Fair play to you. Everyone's allowed to kind of, I don't like his direction. That's fine. Can I give James a thumbs up for doing something? Yes, he has rough edge, but I missed that. Well, yeah, you can say that, mate. He's a guy that is sticking his neck out Fucking hell, you've got to give him that. Certainly. Just look at the damage. What, if it's not done the right way, it can do. Because it affects you. It affects Anna. It affects Great Brit. It affects Eddie. It affects Tommy Robinson News. It affects LC. It affects all of you. It affects me. So, your actions are paramount, aren't they, really? So, yeah, that anyone in this movement who's got the balls to stand up, I commend them. Even if I disagree with them, it still takes guts, you know, to do it and put up with the shit. But there's still an element that you've got to be considerate, haven't you? And you've got to watch how your argument is perceived moving forward, because you could bring what you're all about into disrepute and bring on a chain of events that's going to bring confrontation to your organisation, whether it be from the media or from the left or from Antifa or from whatever, a load of freaking Muslims who's had it, whatever. It's like, we don't need that shit. We've only got one enemy here, and that enemy is the establishment. So we've got to kind of work out a way of how you can get to them where they can't get to you, in a way. So, yeah. I know people think tried everything nicely, but same again, Chris. Where's this going? So, I've had a lot. Same again, I had a YouTuber before saying to me, yeah, chaos is coming, anarchy's coming. Just kind of resign to the fact. Well, you don't want to resign to the fact, because the moment that he does, it ain't going to be a YouTube comment anymore. It's going to be real life shit. You're going to get curtailed. You know, it could end up martial law coming out. It could end up that they may start going through literally every account and then rounding up people. You'll get a mass shutdown of pages. They'll really curtail you. And then no one's got free speech. So then the people who seemingly had nothing to do with it, even though they support you for saying something, you fucked them up as well as you fucked it up for everyone else. So that's my point. That's my point. There's no logic in doing it in an overtly confrontational way. I just don't see it. I never will. It's about as much common sense as a geezer who I disagree with up the street and then me just comes smacking him right in the face. You know, as much as that'll make me feel better because it'll get rid of my pent-up aggression that I felt because that geezer's done that to me, I've got to expect to smack back. Or maybe worse still, he might come with a stick. He might want to, you know, get to one of my kids. So, you know, that it's the common sense logic. I'm not a bottle merchant. I'm certainly not a shitbag. Mate, I come from the streets of Miles Platting, and I don't think you have a guy that can come from the streets of Miles Platting that you can classically call a shitbag. Because if you come from Miles Platting in the 70s, my God, you were getting it. So, like many other estates all over the country, I'm not saying Miles Platting's any different than the others, but there's a certain toughness and hardness that living on a council estate has brought, you know? So, I'm not shying away from that. I love that. But at the same time, I've got to look my daughters in the eye, I've got to look my wife in the eye, and I've got to look my friends in the eye that I'm speaking to and saying, listen, this is what I'm doing. And you know what I'm enjoying? I'm enjoying a lot of people that I'm not really connecting with for months that are saying, mate, I've just looked at one or two of your videos, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing it. I ain't got the bottle to do. I don't know how you sleep at night. I don't know how you put up with all that shit that you get back, but keep doing what you're doing. Even though they can see you're in murky, reedy waters, you know, it's foggy, it's, you know, and you're still trying to navigate it. I ain't got the answers. Yeah. Yeah, Harry Hill, you're freaking right there. So, yeah, I mean, you know, here's another one. This was just Yahoo. Westminster has been plagued. Look for bloody lighter. I can't find it. Oh bloody hell, never mind. Westminster has been plagued this week by a handful of protesters shouting abuse at politicians and journalists, sparking safety concerns. See that? So, straw man, they can now curtail. So, carry on doing that shit. They're going to build a steel ring. You won't have protests outside Downing Street anymore because of that. Now, not to say that they're not overreacting. Of course they're overreacting, but you're giving the justification to them on a plate. You're putting a bit of tartar sauce on it, and you're wiping the plate with a tea towel, and you're putting it in front of him, because all they're doing is going, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to use that. So all these lefties, all these organisations are going to turn around and go, right, we've got to revise now this funding. So we've got to look at these people who are deemed on the right, who've got PayPal, who've got GoFundMe. So this could affect much more people than just James. And I'm sure it will. Don't forget all the bannings that we've had on Facebook that people still regularly go through. And sometimes it's not even justified. Sometimes you can go, but sometimes it's for fuck all. It's literally for just sharing stuff. Or sometimes for the perception, because you followed someone else that's then done. Same again, straw men effects. But so these guys, they got us by the balls. So in one particularly shocking incident, Tory MP said that they're fucking loving this. There's a saying that they're saying it, you can dine out on that for months. They're going to dine out on this for months. Was repeatedly called a Nazi. Now, that spells hypocrisy and double standards. Because you call an MP a Nazi, then you are the worst person in the world, and because of it, we've now got 100 MPs that are all going to rub their hands and going to see to it that we form a steel ring round Downing Street, round Westminster, yeah? That's what they're saying there. Now, the irony is, I can get called a Nazi, you can get called a Nazi, and who gives a shit? So I get the anger, I totally get it, and I can get why this plum in the mouth bitch has had us all over, yeah? Why she's had one up on us. But I can see what's led it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Pitfalls. On Tuesday, police held a special press conference to say officers had been briefed to intervene appropriately. Curtailment. Boom. Language, Philip. Do apologise. It's 2019. I'm going to try and refrain from profanity, but there is a but I am going to try and refrain. So, duly noted, duly frigging noted. And I'm going to say frigging more, I guess. She won't get voted in. Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's all one big club, innit? I mean, what, we've got 10 minutes left. Do you want me to read any more of that? Because I don't want to be the one that keeps sounding like still Trump. Yeah, Anna. Yeah, we do need nobody not to be pessimistic. Oh, I didn't get that, Anna. I don't know what you were getting at there, really. It is after the 9 o'clock watershed. Yeah, so I'm going to keep swearing. No, I'm not. Because it's not good for me as an individual, Yeah. No, give us your answer to the problem. What, this problem? If I'm going to do it in a nutshell, calm your shit down. And I'm sorry, I've just broke my cardinal rule there. But saying that one word probably negates me saying 7 other words. But basically that. We've got to be resilient. You've got to have direction. You've got to have a target. You've got to have a goal. You've got to be professional. You've got to have discretion. You've got to have power. But at the same time, you've got to have control. In terms of control of the rhetoric and the narrative within your own party. And you've got to hold them reins fucking tightly. Because you can see now. Because what it does look like, you've got so many different people within the movement that what they're pissed about is on so many different levels that everyone's got their own little beef and is acting on their own little belief rather than acting within the collective belief of what the edicts of that movement actually means, if that makes any sense. But I get why people, I get it. Freaking hell. I love me street protest. I've enjoyed it so much over the past year or so, meeting all you guys, whether I've met any of you. I've met some of you I've physically spoke to, some I've never spoke to. And I've enjoyed your fucking company. I'm doing it again. Right. What am I doing? Have I got any change on me? Right. Here we go. I've got £2.10. I'm not going to put the 10 pence in, so it's cost me £2 that. £2 are going to my kids. £2. Yeah? So there's my donation to the Daddy Stop Swearing Fund. Swear jar, I know, but the way I'm going, it's not going to be a swear jar, it's going to be a swear... I can't even finish the sentence, a swear barrel. Double it, I know whiz, mate, honestly. We need a communal jar. That's the way we do it. A communal swear jar. Boom. Whoever put that up, that's beautiful. Really? Right. So why don't we, instead of having a donation fund, we have, anytime someone says anything nefarious or anything negative or uses any swear words or any connotational words that people can get triggered by, they have to metaphorically put £1 in a jar that is digitally in the system somewhere, and then someone who needs that money will get it, and it won't be me. Someone who really needs it. Great Brit, get your money in, mate. Get that piss. Right, I've only got 10 pence, so I'm done. I'm spent. That's my money done. I've got 6 minutes, 16 seconds, so if I swear now, I'm literally bankrupt. I'm telling you, mate, I've got to work an extra hour for that tomorrow. Oh, Tourette's. I know, imagine if I had Tourette's. Cheese and bread. I know. Hi, Janelle, you're alright. I know, I need to stop. I'm going to calm it down. And I can't be professing to other people to calm my stuff down, and I'm here ranting and raving, developing a bleeding swear jar. Is bleeding a swear word? Bleeding's not a swear word, is it? Is it? We're not all painted. Yeah, I know. Go on, Phil. Big me up, mate. No, but yeah, okay. It's not a swear word. It is. Oh, jeez. We've got a splitting camp over that now, right? I'm a quid in deficit. That ain't going any further. So I'm going to wrap it up because honestly, freaking hell, I'm going to have to get my wallet out. It's going to have to be some paper put in this jar. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm glad you like the stream, David. I'm glad. And I'm glad people hopefully have got the positive connotation out of this stream. Nothing negative. It's not about ripping. So I do want to clear that up because I do feel that every time I do this, I feel that people knock me for it, and they're gonna, because some people have decided, you know what, I don't like him because of, and that's fine. But honestly, you don't hate the player, hate the game. So even if I'm saying something, if it does make sense and I've got a point, then you don't have to hate me for it. And I will end with this. I was telling you about a geezer that was twisting me a new one in the comment section. I'm not going to mention his name because it's not important, but he's put Red Pill Phil saying this was following the yellow vest when I was saying, it needs direction. Someone explain, just stand up and explain what the movement's all about. So he's put Red Pill Phil saying the UK yellow vest movement doesn't make sense. He doesn't make sense. He's trying to sow the seeds of division. RPP, Red Pill Phil, actually does nothing but go on and on. He thinks he should be the leader without putting his neck on the line. Right? So that was that. And then someone's gone, thumbs up. Have that, have that. Little keyboard warrior there slapping away. Right, so then I've thought, right, I'm not going to swear, but I was going to, but I'm not. I thought, right, and I've put LOL, leader, really? I don't want to be a leader in any way, which is genuine comment. I am merely trying to work out the direction of this movement because from where I am standing, it has not got any at all. That is the point. We should have learned and matured from last year's lessons, which I do feel that. I do feel that we should evolve from what, instead of just kind of going through the same things over and over again. Sadly, it seems this movement is making the same mistakes all over again. And as for sticking my neck out, well, that's just laughable. And I had to get my own little dig in. I trust yours is stuck out more than laugh out loud. Now, I don't mean to pull people down like that, but it's like, come on, seriously. You can't say I'm not sticking my neck out. Seriously. Even if you feel people are doing it more so. Well, it's not for me to say, but freaking hell. I've done like nearly 500 videos. Not sticking my neck out. So, he's put a few hours later, after that reply, probably about 5 hours later. Okay, Phil, I'm going to rein back on my earlier comments. I was talking with my brother last night, so his brother has talked sense into him. And I have come around to the conclusion that the Yellow Vest UK does need direction. He pointed out that loads of disgruntled groups are jumping on the bandwagon. Like on Saturday in Manchester, some women from Leeds who idiot boyfriend went to Syria to fight with the Kurdish right. I don't even know whether I'm supposed to be interviewing her in the next week or so. I don't know. I'm sure that might be the case, but this is what this guy says. And has now been incarcerated, tried to hijack what was the pro-Brexit demo. I think the Yellow Vest UK should concentrate 100% on Brexit. The reason why I believe this, Brexit is non-religious, non-racial, and ultimately about democracy. It can unite us all. Where other issues divide the movement on different opinions, P.S. Phil, I don't hate you, why would I? So that, you know what, fair play to the geezer. He's tagged me a new one, and some people, when I comment back, they just kind of don't get in touch. You know, just whatever. And there's a lot of times when people comment and I'll just ignore it. But fair play, the geezer's come back and he's kind of admitted. So that's fair enough. Totally, yeah, exactly. So we're all in this same boat. This is what I'm going to end it with, guys. We're all in this same boat. We're all trying to suss out where we're going. And all we want to do is make sure that we've still got the kahunas to stay in the game. That's all we've got to do. It's like the longest endurance race ever. And instead of just getting knackered, you've got to keep going. And then someone else will pick it up later on down the line, kind of keep going. That looks like my hour's up. I'm getting good at this. Right, it's cost me about a £5 this stream, but it's all good. It's all good. Probably most of me dated as well, but fair enough. Listen, let me stop this. Right. Oh, for God's sake. Right. Okay, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up. So I hope you got something from it. And listen, what I will say is there's going to be a march on Saturday, isn't there, so I believe, in London. I've got nothing against anyone who wants to go for whatever reason. You can see, regardless of me bringing up, you can see what is going on in the climate. So the best of luck. I hope it goes positive. I don't think... Oh, I missed that comment. I really want the best to come from this. And I want this movement, like any other movement, to grow and nurture into something that is going to be attractive and seductive for people external of it. We need to take this mainstream. It can't stay in the echo chamber any longer. And whilst the mainstream media have got that ammunition, it's preventing it going mainstream. So we need to break through that perception deception that they're kind of spilling out before us. It's like they're saying it. I will end on this statement. A lie can get round the world or halfway round the world before the truth can get his pants on. And they do it all the time. But we don't need to make it easy for them either. So, on that note, everyone who's joined this stream, thank you very much. There was other things I've got. I'll be in Rochdale Saturday. I'm going to be speaking to Billy. There's a lot of new developments. I'm not going to go into it now. There's going to be a couple of interviews I'm going to be conducting there. And I've also had a chat with Steve Neblet as well. I will chat about that at a later date and hopefully be getting an interview with him. There's still another Rochdale, what do you call it? Freaking hell. Trilogy. Well, it's not a trilogy because it's more than 3. There's series to come. There's one more. So that'll be in the next couple of weeks. And plus there'll be other little uploads of different things that have been going on. Whether you find it important or not, whether you find it just as a filler or not, they will be there. See what you think. See where it brings you in your whole scape of being in terms of thinking about the movement. So, thank you very much, guys. Long live the common sense people, the positive people that's going to get us out of this doo-doo, save me a quid, in the long run, okay? So, thank you to everyone. Bye, guys. I love you all, even the pissing haters. God bless.